Katie Birmingham from Falling Tree Productions, BBC 4, where the program has been broadcasted. Katie, when you were a little child and you had to perform, or your school class had to perform Annie musical, they put you in the last row. So you were a self-declared bad dancer. But now I think that story took it revenge. It all started at a market in East London. What happened there, in fact, shortly?
Well, I was browsing a record store there with a friend, and Bob Hill, who turns into the protagonist of this program, he just started talking to me, actually, just randomly.
Who shouldn't?
It was lovely. He telling me that he was there buying records because he had received a record player at his bungalow around the corner. Mysteriously, it had been delivered to him, and that, this is in the beginning of the program, but that his wife, Iris, who died a few months before I'd met him, had ordered the set of turntables for him without telling him, and then it had turned up after she died. He used to be a DJ in his youth, and they used to dance together, and when I met Bob, he was starting collecting records again, and
because he sold his records to pay the trip with his wife.
Yeah, he took her on the QE2
cruise. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. They went on a cruise. So he sold his turntables and his records, and then spent the last, I suppose, 15 years of her life or so looking after her. I'm telling you this now, and also there's a voice in my head thinking I could tell the story in a different way, because Bob has a habit of telling one story and then telling it another story, and sometimes they don't always quite connect, or there are inconsistencies, but that's the basic gist of it.
I suggest we first listen to a part, but what happened? Yes, Bob Hill did a proposition to you.
No, I did a proposition to Bob Hill, actually. Sounds strange, but well, I was curious about his story, about his character. He had a way of speaking that I was captured by. So I gave my phone number to the man at the record stall and said, "Would you mind passing this to this gentleman if he ever comes back, and asking him to phone me," which in hindsight is a bold move perhaps, and I'm glad that Bob did then phone 2 weeks later, and I asked if I could come around for coffee. So then we started dancing.
And then he proposed you to?
Then he said, yes, would you dance?
Learn to dance?
Learn to dance, yes.
Okay, there we go. Wait, there we go.
Now you're a coy little girl sitting down there. Because I always look for a girl that's got funny shoes on. I have this dance, love.
And I say yes?
Yeah, you just stand up. Now what did I do? See, went back. You went with your left. I bet you've been practicing this.
Am I getting better?
Yeah. So the only thing is wrong here is the room, not giving me room to swing around. I've got to watch where the chairs are. Right. Now remember that. Sometimes you can't always be going one way or the other because somebody's coming the other way. So your driver, instead of being able to go forward, he has to sort of pull you back. So don't happen very often.
Dancing, we turn around and around in circles, and I imagine my feet being swept off the ground.
Now you did it then, and you did it then. See, it can be done.
When we turn, I catch glimpses of faces looking out. Faces from Bob's past and present.
When I first met Iris, I was on leave from the RAF, and I decided to go to a dance, so I went to the Royal in Tottenham. And when I got there to Tottenham, there was a girl walking up the steps just in front of me. And as I got up the top of the steps, she turned around and she said, "They're not open, mate." So I said, "Why not?" She said, "It's been damaged by bombing." And so she left. So from there I walked, and as I went by the town hall I could hear music. So I went in and I sat on this table, and suddenly I thought to myself, well, better have a dance. Now, honest, I never cared a girl if she was tall, fat, thin, skinny. I never looked at any of them things. I always used to look at a girl's shoes. And if she had a pair of shoes on that she actually couldn't walk in, she must be a good dancer, because otherwise she wouldn't be there. So I saw this girl standing on one leg, with one leg up against the wall and one leg down on the bottom. So I goes up and says, "May I have this dance?" And she looked round at me and she said, "Oh," she said, "we meet again." I said, "Meet again?" She said, "Yes." She said, "I just come back from the Royal." "Well, that was you, wasn't it?" I said, "Yeah." So fate meant us to meet.
Come up, Katie. Last Monday, exactly a week ago, I had the chance to sit next to Katie at the Sony Radio Awards session in the very chic Grosvenor Hotel. And there were 5 nominees, and they start with bronze prize goes. Silver prize goes, by the way, to Sarah Jane Hall, who is here, with a piece that we will hear. And then they said, gold goes to Katie. And they said, an incredible piece of radio, compelling, innovative and touching. This feature found the epic in the everyday, uncovering the richness of ordinary lives. Speech radio at its very best. Now, after we finished the work together, you wrote me a mail with some interesting thoughts about storytelling. You remember what you wrote? Could you tell?
Not word for word, but well, I do remember that I think I told you that I wasn't afraid of stories anymore, by which I meant that prior to doing the master school, I'd probably been focusing on the end result, perhaps subconsciously looking for stories that were preformed, that they ticked all the boxes, and they had a beginning, a middle and an end, and there were tension points and all the things that we've come to know as important in making programs. And this was, I suppose, the first opportunity I'd had to work on something for such a long time, and it made me realise that as much as all of those things are important, what is equally important is the process of discovery that you go on when you make a program itself. And this scheme gave me that space to do that. And it also gave me the opportunity, which I hadn't had in quite the same way before, having not worked with a group of 15 other young producers and yourself and all the other mentors on the scheme, to collaborate so fully. And that was invaluable, because as well as giving me the opportunity and the confidence to explore my own voice, it was done alongside the wisdom of others, which I really, won't forget actually, and hope to always have an opportunity to do in other programs, because I think that combination of oneself and others is fairly essential.
I think that all the talent was in your hands, because you have a very good voice and a good pen. And for radio, these are very, very important assets. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So now I have the pleasure to call all the trainees, and they will receive their certificate. So Kasia, congratulations. Katie. Francisca. Colleen. Lovisa. And last but not least, Eva. Voilà.
So we move to part 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So now, as I'm standing, we move to part 2. So it's a great pleasure to be here today with all of you, actually, because we wish to celebrate with all of you the 10th anniversary of the EBU Master School on Radio Features. And 10 years of an amazing journey, both in the audio world and as a lifetime human experience, as the testimony we heard from all these young people. And the best place for doing it is the IFC. And why? Here we are among peers, but not silent listeners. We are among friends who share the same passion for radio feature. For you, radio is more than a job. This is a lifestyle. So, what did we have in mind when we created the EBU Master School 10 years ago? Actually, we wanted to build a bridge between two generations. On the one hand, a very experienced, talented, but aging generation of program makers. On the other hand, a new, bright, and energetic generation of radio professionals, but for whom radio grammar, vocabulary, and secrets of feature making was still unknown territory. And we wanted to transfer knowledge from the first to the second generation, and to do it with an efficient, practical, and personal training. In 2001, the founders of the EBU Master School were Helmut Kopetzky, Steven Eriksson, Edwin, and myself. And other coaches joined us later on, Lisbeth Jessen, Annick Lesage, where is Annick? Yeah, Annick, Liam O'Brien, and Eva Reuter. And I would like to ask you, please give a warm round of applause to these crusaders of radio. I can tell you that the EBU Master School would not exist without them. And the EBU Master School flourishes thanks to them, thanks to their dedication and fantastic work. So over the 10 years, 60 young people were trained through the EBU Master School on Radio Features, and indeed we are curious to know what happened to them, what became of them, what role has the EBU Master School played in their life, in their career and personality. What is the heritage of the EBU Master School? But before I let Edwin and Lisbeth tackle these questions, let's take a few moments to listen to our heart and emotions, and I'm very happy to call Eva. And Eva, you know Eva now, she will play La Folia, an exuberant virtuoso piece of Spanish origin on the Baroque violin. So. It will take some time, sorry. Sometimes. So she's preparing herself. You know, the violin is not like it's not a piano, so she needs to.
2 minutes, please.
So we have very beautiful souvenirs from the EBU Master School. On the 4th edition of the Master School, they played a song for us. They invented a song, and I remember the tears of Stephen when the song was played to us in VRT studio. So music has accompanied all of us for many years. And Yuri, he was playing the piano at the time. And Susanna was the conductor. Yeah. So music, and Susanna you will hear later. Yeah. So music has been with us for these 10 years. Yes, no, it's...
By the way, Eva is a professional violinist, and her range of repertoire goes from mainly Baroque classic, but to folk music, to jazz, whole, yeah, very, very wide.
I hold the microphone for you.
Okay, I will take. Sorry.
I can hold this for you if you want.
I will take this one. Thank you. Should I add some?
Yeah,
Yes.
So when I was asked by Edwin a couple of weeks ago to play a piece there on this occasion, so I was wondering what piece should I choose, and I decided to play a selection of variations on La Folia theme written by Arcangelo Corelli more than 300 years ago. La Folia is an old and very famous European tune or chord progression, and many composers use it in their compositions. And well, it is a theme followed by a set of variations. And should I draw a parallel between La Folia variation and the EBU Master School, I would say they both have something in common. The variations are each year different, but I think the theme or the main idea remains the same.
Thank you, Eva.
really amazing, isn't it? Now, when we started up the master school, like Natalie said, I think the very start must about 2000, 2001, and at that moment I remember two events that helped us to decide, yes, now we should do something, and it was Leo, of course, at the Prix Europa. There was a marketplace for young ears in the evening after the official program, and there you can really feel the hunger of young people to get forward, to be trained, and so on. And there was this Åke Blomstrom also, but of course we lacked a kind of structural platform for training, and in fact this whole master school is not that much based on structures, it's based on people. I met Leo, I met Helmut. At a certain moment I moved at my station to the radio training department. I met Natalie, and in fact it's like a result of an immense nepotism. It's like an acoustical mafia. But it's thanks to this friendship and this network that we managed to do it. And of course we had to find, or the EBU, to find right structures, to refine, but I still think the spirit of the master school is there. Now often they ask, what is the secret of the master school? Very shortly, or how can this young lettuce start to grow? I think there's a notion of slowness. All we have to do very often is it has to be very rapid. Now we have time for fermentation, for maturation. The whole project takes about 9 months, and this pace anyhow. Between the first idea of a program and the final editing, a lot of things happen. So time to explore, and time for yourself to discover more internal resources than you thought you had. And that's why suddenly we ask, or someone propose now, write your own text, do your own presentation, and sometimes it's really a good thing. And another point is, now it's true, all has to go so quickly. And I remember in my station, and many stations, the last year there was a kind of human resources policy. They said, you have to reinvent yourself the whole time. It is so tiring. It's only now, and I'm nearly 65, I'm 65, that I think perhaps I have found a little bit myself. But being behind me, I say, reinvent yourself, change. The next day you shouldn't be the same as yesterday. So this master school, the notion of giving time for something to be matured and developed is very nice, and it's more important to accept yourself at a certain moment than to feel the need of, no, I have to change and change again. Another thing is to learn to focus on something. How far would I go to limit a topic? Sharing, of course, it's based on sharing knowledge, collective brainstorms, storytelling, and then also a kind of discipline. And it's not that I'm such a disciplined person, but when you work in such a setting, there are deadlines and so on. There's a pressure on everyone. I remember the first day coming to a master school, everyone is quite scared. Will I be able to deliver my baby in 9 months? Well, will I be as good as the other? So there's a lot of, I wouldn't say panic, but uncertainty. And very often you see that at the start of the master school, the big mouths. At the end they are a little bit smaller. And the very shy people, after 9 months, they start to flourish. The lung lettuce is there. So now, with some of the people of the former master schools, it was not obvious to come to here for 1 day, so you need to have the money, or you have to be sent, but 5 people are here, and Lisbeth, you are introducing the first.
So, could we have Susanne Fransmeier coming to our stage here? Susanne Fransmeier was in the master school 3.5 years ago, I think. And she's also a musician. She's a rap singer from Berlin, and welcome here. And first of all, Susanne, you have a special greeting. You have brought a greeting with you from Lithuania, and maybe just introduce what it is. It's from also another master school participant.
Yes, I just came from Lithuania, from Vilnius to today, this morning, and there I saw Viktoras, who was in our master school, and I brought my my recorder, and I asked him to say something about the master school, because he couldn't come because of lack of money and so. But I have a nice little.
So something fresh from last night, I think, or something. We'll hear it. Okay.
So at the Institute Journalism, when I was finishing it, which I finished, they only taught me how to do news, answering all these basic questions of what were the pyramid thing. But when I got to the master school, I really understood you can tell the story the other way. You can tell the story in a longer way. You can tell the story in many, many ways, and it's like in life. It's really nice. So I really love that. And now when I read news, I sometimes try that. The boss comes to me and says, you did it the wrong way, but I know it's the way life is. The right way. Yeah, the right way, my way. So this came from the master school, this thought about making it the other ways, and I really love it. So once again, if I could, I would do it again, no questions. So have a nice time in Holland, guys. And once again, you can always come to Vilnius. Okay. It's true.
Thanks.
You might get lucky.
So a small thought from Lithuania.
Yeah,
so we will talk about your life and your productions. Some years ago, you made your first feature. It was about
women in hip hop.
And Susanne is a hip-hopper herself, but she didn't use herself in the feature. She didn't dare. And then she made the next feature, maybe some in between also. The next feature was in the master school, and it was about procrastination.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
It's postponing things from one day to the next, and well, if you say what you can do today, you also can do it tomorrow. Or the day after tomorrow. So that's procrastination.
This is procrastination. And there you used yourself as a rap singer, because it was like procrastinating, making the production. And the production was a CD, Mach es morgen, which came out 2 years ago.
2009. I released my album.
Yeah, and now you have a new feature which was just aired at Deutschland Radio.
No, it will be aired the 21th. Of May?
21st?
21st, yes. Yeah, thank you.
And it is called The Winner Is, Der Gewinner Ist, I think.
Und der Gewinner ist, and the winner is. And
there you also, it's something that we have been discussed a lot also in the master school, the difference between personal and private. Because this is not putting yourself as a private person into your feature, and this is something that I think we have done. We have talked about and also been trained at the master school. That to create a personal narration without being private. And here in your new piece, Und der Gewinner ist, the winner is, you are also again using yourself not as you as a private person, but you as a rap singer, and you have brought a small excerpt that we are going to listen to, I think. Maybe you can say something?
I think it's not the excerpt of the new feature, but it's a song I also used in the feature, and it's about actually, in the future, I'm participating in a casting show because my big dream is to finally maybe be a little bit, have a little bit more success as a musician. Because after 1 year after the release of my CD, I didn't even sell 200 CDs, and about the GEMA, it's a how do you say? You get money from when music is played in the radio, and I owned €7.31, and that's why I thought, well, maybe if I participate in a casting show, I might get the chance. And
yeah. So Susanne is still producing features, and you are still a rap singer. And now we will listen to one of the songs from her new CD, which is also a part in this feature. Yes. Yeah? Okay.
Ich weiß nicht mehr seit wann, aber solange ich denken kann, wollte ich mich allen beweisen und zeigen, wer ich wirklich bin. Ich hatte früh das Gefühl, dass keiner mich kennt und mich beim Namen nennt, obwohl mein Herz so sehr danach brennt. Hab ich zu wenig Freunde, warum habe ich den Drang, mich in die Menge zu stürzen, die einem viel mehr abverlangt? Da draußen bin ich unsichtbar, bin irgendwer, und wenn ich es falsch angehe, will mich auch keiner mehr. Das ist ein Risiko, das ich zu tragen weiß. Ich kann mich nicht gegen wehren, wenn ich versage, zahle ich den Preis. Doch was mich treibt, ist eine Droge, sie ist mir einverleibt. Ich weiß, ich reiße Bäume aus, wenn mir nur eines bleibt. Nervenkitzel, ein leiser Schauer, Gänsehaut. Wenn alles denkt, das ist meine, die sich etwas traut. Dann erster Bravo ruft ein tosender Applaus. Ihr findet das pervers, aber ich bin doch bloß eine Rampensau. Ja, ganz genau, Rampensau. Dreht das Spotlight an und richtet es auf. Genau diese Frau. Ich brauch meine Show, denn ich bin ne Rampensau. Ich hab bei Hunderten von Castings mitgemacht, 1000 Wichtigtouren, verlogen ins Gesicht gelacht. Ich übe Tag und Nacht, was man am besten sagt.
So that was a little bit playback.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I have the tears in my eyes. Well, some years, the first master school was in 2002, and Kasia Michalak from Radio Poland in Lublin was one of our trainees. Kasia. And immediately she struggled. She was quite shy at that moment, and then in a few years, when I listened to your English, it became perfect. I think we liked very much the program that we just heard. So to several people of the Master School, we asked to talk for 3 or 4 minutes about a kind of heritage. And I said, we absolutely don't expect a kind of list of compliments for the Master School, which is even more important is what now, after so many years, how is your job, how is your work, what could you use perhaps of this master school in the last, in this case, the last 8 years. Go ahead.
10 years ago I was at the beginning of my radio way, and as the beginner I felt the pressure of the topic. Yeah, everybody said, find good topic, find completely new topic, shock me by the topic. And Edwin said during the first meeting, everything has been said, but not by you. So it was, I have this sentence above my desk in my office.
It's not mine, but nevertheless.
Yeah, it was a good it was taken from Canadian folk song.
EB is enough.
Okay, but it's the main important thing, and I feel as a filter for each story. I was afraid of this, but today I'm not afraid to be a filter for my story, for the story I found. And another thing I've learned is the awareness of medium radio. Yeah, we were learning about working with microphone, like with a camera, about dramaturgic models. We called feature an audio movie, it was completely new for me, because in Poland we have no time for work with coach. There is no the institution of the coach at all. We don't have editors. We work ourselves, yes, on the feature. So it was completely new. And the third thing was to treat the feature as the musical composition, and it happened thanks to Steven Eriksson, my coach. Steven is also an outstanding sound editor, and he learned me how to listen to the feature as the musical composition, that you must pay attention to the pace, the rhythm, the silence, which means so much. Is that the absence, which means so much, the silence. So I would prefer to dance, but I treat EBU Master School as a break point in my career, and I'm very serious about this.
Okay, thank you, Kasia. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And then Jerzy. Did I pronounce it in the right way? Jerzy? Almost. Please. So you are on stage for the second time today.
Hi.
Hi. So you are also one of our former Master School participants, and if you could tell something about what you have been doing, I mean, since we met last in Brussels.
Okay, well, when we met in Brussels, I was still working for the Czech radio, but I guess also because it's one of the consequences of the master school, like you just don't see the radio in the way you had seen it before. So I just, like, my work in the Czech radio I just had enough, so I decided to change it a bit, and I left for Canada to work a bit with Chris Brooks. And if you heard his production in the morning, so you probably can imagine how wonderful experience it can be.
So after the master school, you decided to leave Czech radio. This is not a good decision, maybe, you know? Oh.
Well, you know, like, I'm glad that I'm not the only one who has this rather restless feelings, but you heard Victoras saying that after he learned these things in the EBU Master School, he had this conflicts with his bosses and stuff like that, and I think it's great, because sometimes I'm using two metaphors, like, for meeting the EBU Master School, and it's either like falling in love or getting infected by this strange feature virus, you know. So once you get infected, you really, it's hard to come back to this, you know, how it was before. Yeah.
But to talk serious also, because do you see it as a challenge, or is it impossible to take you know, what you learn in the master school or what you hear here and really, does it have the impact that you can go back to your station and try to say, I want to work on my features like you did, or is it an utopia? I mean, we have time in the master school, long time to produce. So is it possible to continue this work afterwards? I mean, is a world like this?
I hope so. I hope so. I firmly believe in that. But it's not easy.
But I mean, the most of the participants at master schools are younger producers, and do you see it like, do you have conflicts when you come home to insist on that we need time for the production, it's time and money for the production, or is it like a luxury production that we have in the master school?
Well, of course, it's like everybody probably knows that it's a luxury, and you have to fight for space. And the most of my friends, and like even from the EBU Master School or from the Czech radio, they do features in their free time. But I mean, it's worth it. It's beautiful. Yeah, I probably cannot give you any any question that is any answer that is.
So are you staying abroad? Are you going back to Czech radio, or what is the plans for the futures?
Well, you are asking me to. I don't know. I cannot give you any exact answer. But then I'm sure that like in the future, like the features will be there. So that's at least that's certain. And I'm of course that I want to come back.
You worked with Helmut.
Yes.
Yes. And how was that?
Well, it was just great. You know, there are this I don't know. It was like a magical meeting that happens only a few times in your life, because it was, you know, I came to the feature EBU Master School and I hadn't known anything about features, so I didn't know the big personalities or anything. But I had one theme that I wanted to develop, and it was the theme of Sudetenland. And then Helmut became my coach, and we shared this theme. You know, it's this live theme as well. So this was like this amazing thing that happened, and I just couldn't believe that. So it was really exciting, and it gave a lot of energy to our cooperation. And you know, I really admired Helmut for his, like, I mean, that feature making is a way of his life, and he's very consistent in this. You know, and it's.
Well, it's halfway done.
He moved away, you know. So thank you very much, Diechi.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. In 2003 happened something quite disturbing for me. I was at the Prix Europa, and Leo Brown asked me at the final rewarding session to hand over the Prix Europa to the winner. So I got an envelope, and I had to go on the scene, and I saw this name. I said, my God. And then I said to the audience, there's one person in this room, person, not man or woman, who owe me, and it's true, 20 euro. And now this person will be able to get it back, to give it back. Please stand up. And then Hegedal, the blonde Hegedal from Norway, won the Prix Europa. And in fact, a little bit, I was happy of course, but it was a little bit scary. The master school is not made to win prizes. It can put the standards too high, it can be a pressure on the shoulder of other people, but year by year, and I won't give them all in detail, but Priscille Cazin won the Prix Italia, Kasia and Monica Hemperek also Prix Europa, Mike Locaine Prix Europa, Jens Jarisch 2 times Prix Europa, Christer Mautzen. So many people that I ask is, but it's very happy, but it still shouldn't give any pressure on anyone on the master school, but it's also great news.
So Monica Hemperek, also one of our former participants in the master school. She's from Lublin Radio, and she's a colleague with Kasia, and as Edwin said, they won the Prix Europa, but it has nothing to do with the master school, because it was long time before the master school, but still, yes. But so Monica, we have been working together some years ago, and we were in the very famous Bone group. Yes, also we had a Bone group at that time. You made also a very serious, wonderful feature from Lublin about future. Not future, about pastime, yes. So we're not going to talk about pastime, but we're going to talk about what you are working on now. And we know, and how is the conditions for working in Lublin Radio. You don't have the time for working on 2 features a year, I think. How is your conditions? How, yeah.
It's very interesting. Yes, I took part into the course, EBU Master course, in the year 2006, and of course, I was very lucky because I was coached by Lisbeth Jessen. As you know, she is a master of building dramaturgy in features. So thank you for your lectures. Thank you, Edwin, for your poetry about radio work. I work in Poland. I work in Lublin, Polish Radio Lublin, and I know it sounds strange. I make, Kasia also, I make 3 or 4 features per month. Yes, it is possible. It is a great opportunity to meet a lot of fantastic people, but of course we sometimes have problems with sleep.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. So you make 4 features, and so I can imagine that you use also your free time.
Okay.
It's not only.
Sometimes I work 2 years at my feature, but my work looks very, very strange. I would like to say that it is a discovery, my personal discovery, as a radio author, also radio speaker, who talking to the listeners on the air about problem mentioned in the broadcast material. It is a discovery that the characters of the features become members of our radio family. They become attached to the particular radio station and the particular radio program. They actively participated in discussing issues. The radio has in its character something that helps to reach some people who otherwise would remain totally anonymous. It's a great gift to discover such interesting people and establish deep contact and be a medium between them and the other listeners. Thank you.
So, but just one more remark here, or question, because one thing about the master school, of course, it has been mentioned also. It's what we do when we meet and when we discuss and when we have the productions going on. But I think that many of the participants, they know each other, you know, afterwards. They have build up a network, and I think it's a good opportunity to meet other young producers from other countries. And it's a good idea also to have some ideas and to develop them. And I know that Monica has one really good idea about a balloon.
For those who are interested in a subject here, I have some materials. This is a topic which crossing the borders between Poland, between many countries, between Poland and Switzerland. It is a story about white balloon.
Maybe you could say something about this balloon.
During the martial law in Poland, someone found a white balloon with piece of paper bearing a peaceful message and the names of the children who wrote it. And I have materials about it from Switzerland press.
Okay. So, and what you're not finished yet, are you? So if there's somebody here who's, or German-speaking person, or somebody who wants to make
from Switzerland,
or from Switzerland, to make, to find out who sent this balloon.
I know it.
You know it already. Okay. So ask Monica. Maybe you could do some co-work, and it would be interesting. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Monica.
Thank you very much.
Michael O'Kane from Ireland attended the master school, I think, in 2001. First one. But you look not as someone of the first master school. At least you were in the middle. But of course we want to know what happened to you in the meantime. You are
what happened next,
and have some new projects also.
Yeah, Edwin asked me to say a few words like everybody else, maybe something witty, but it's difficult to follow such a wit by saying something witty. But what I would like to say is it was a real privilege to be on the master school, and a fantastic thing. And I think as the first graduates, to borrow your metaphor of lettuce and vegetables, that we're the potatoes, but we've been in the ground a little bit longer, But we're still making nice meals, I think, sort of a great group of people. But it's been fantastic, and I'm still making documentaries, and they've gone quite well. I've had a few interesting programs, a good variety of programs, and a very enjoyable time meeting a lot of people. What the EBU Master School has done is created a network, really, and it's like a big family, so you feel you can draw on the experience and the knowledge of
of everybody else, really, which is a fantastic resource and a real privilege.
Is there a secret to this typical Irish energy? Last year I took the plane. It was how is the name of your company?
RTE.
Yeah, and of the airplane company.
Oh, Aer Lingus.
Lingus. And I flew to Boston, and I got the features of RTE on my earphones in the airplane.
Well, Liam O'Brien, I think, whom you all know, has done a fantastic work in terms of putting documentaries out, particularly Irish documentaries, and it's a fantastic resource we have as well. I think a lot of people have learned from that. But I mean, Liam's another example of the encouragement, and he's also a graduate of the school, so he's been fantastic. And I could mention a lot of people, but I'd be afraid to leave somebody out. But
okay, Michael, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'd just like to say that I think it's written into the granite of the world of sound, the EBU Master School, and long may it live, really.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So now I'd like to pay tribute to two of the masters from the EBU Master School, Helmut Kopetzky and Steven Eriksson. So as I told you earlier, Helmut was one of the founders of the EBU Master School. He brought us his immense talent and impressive curriculum. And he is, for me, the bella figura of Mitolo Europa radio feature. So Helmut retired from the Master School 2 years ago, but he remains in our hearts and memories. So, Helmut, what did the Master School mean in your whole career?
Yeah, well, a little bit about coaching, maybe. I have the permission from Stephen to speak first because I'm a few days older than him. So about coaching, we had the opportunity to be trained as coaches. Nobody is born as coach. I even didn't know what coaching is before. So in the middle of my career as coach, I was coached to be a coach. And it was here in Hilversum, a few blocks from here. It was Stephen, it was Eric, whom you sent, it was Annick, and me. Strange thing, it was one of these psychic things, really. 2 days together and lowering your pants. But it was effective.
I missed that part of it.
It was effective. Okay. So what was the main thing I learned? It was an old Chinese saying, what we learned. It goes like this. What can a man, a poor man, do with a fish? I have the fish with me. Could you assist me?
Yeah, sure.
Where is it? Yes, it's a piranha. You can eat it, actually. But this old saying says, you only can live 1 day on this fish. But if you provide this poor man with a rod, fishing rod,